Universe, how nice of you to join us on this review for Batman Hush.
What's up, Universe, and welcome back to the web's first must-see comic and nerd culture show. Welcome to Comic Universe, guys. I'm one of your hosts, as always, C-Dubs, and as you guys can see, I'm riding solo on this video. And guys, today on the docket is the review of one of DC's best notorious Batman stories. That's right, Batman Hush. We're reviewing that here today. The animated adaptation, if you will. Now, just a little backstory on how much I care about this franchise, okay, is I love Batman Hush. Like, Hush is one of my favorite Batman villains. Hush is one of my favorite Batman stories. And I know some people are on the fence, especially with all the twists and the turns and who did it. It can kind of get old. But when this book came out, when this 12-issue run came out from Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee, I was at a point in my life where adulthood caught up to me. I moved out of my house. I was working 2 jobs. Just basically responsibility, right? And when I found out that Jason Todd was back, I was like, say what? I was like, all right, gotta backtrack, get all the previous, issues, caught up to date, and was hooked from that point on. And I gotta say, with it being one of the comics, or one of the reasons that pulled me back into this nerddom that I love, okay, I have an infinity for this story arc. So when I heard that this was coming out to Batman or to DC Animation, I was super stoked. Probably the most stoked out of everyone on the team. Okay, and I was so ready. And when I watched this, I gotta say, as always, guys, I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, and the badass. But I gotta say, I was left a little underwhelmed. That's not to say that this is bad here, because if you're a fan of that, at least by watching this, you get something different. What I also took away mostly from this story isn't so much from Batman himself or from the story itself. I got a better perspective on the DC animated universe as a whole going off of this. So at the very least, it's definitely a must-watch in that scenario. If you want to kind of just get a bigger, better spectrum of how everything works together, this is a good stepping point, because there's some things that they mention in here that you're like, oh, okay, so it is a connective world type of a thing. So just a fair warning, there may be some spoilers. I'm gonna try not to spoil anything too big for the comic and for the movie. However, if you've read the comic, you kind of already know most of all the plot points, and any twist that they give you from the movie is not really going to be that big of a shock to you, even if it is changed up from the actual comic, which, spoiler alert, there are some things that are definitely different, for better or for worse, between the comic adaptation and the animated adaptation. So, first off, the good. The voice acting, everybody does a pretty good job. I have nothing bad to say about any of the voice actors. Most of these guys have already played these roles before that come back. You have Jennifer Morrison, you have Jerry O'Connell as Superman, Jason Omar, I think is his name, or Omar's, who've played Batman / Bruce Wayne. So there's nothing really out of the ordinary, if you will. Everyone is spot on, does a good and decent enough job. As you know, this is a murder mystery / did you know love story as well. Here in this version, you get a lot more heavy on the love between Batman and Catwoman, Selina Kyle, and Bruce Wayne type of a thing. There is a good, huge focus. Maybe the first half of the movie is big focus on that, which for some people it's good, and for some people that's going to be bad. That's not what I came here for, but I did like it, and I actually pulled away from it. As most people know, I'm more of a Talia fan. I always preferred Batman more so with Talia than Selina Kyle, where like DPZ is more of a Catwoman. So this gave me a better perspective on their relationship, and kind of brought me closer to the idea of maybe someday this will really happen between them. So I did like it. So I did pull away from that, something good and positive. And again, the voice acting, the art is pretty good. It's not as good, obviously, as Jim Lee's stills. You know, his pencils are just redonkulous. He truly is a comic book god, to be honest with you. He's definitely one of the legends in the industry and will go down as such. And that's a big part of the appeal to the comic. So without that here, it's just okay, but it does flow and match the animation for what we've seen from the past few films, if you will. Minus the Fatal Five. That was a little bit different. That was a more of a traditional, maybe closer to the original animated series, more so. This is closer in like the reign of Superman, and in fact, we find out this has happened just recently after that. Because this is a small spoiler, it doesn't change anything to the story, but there is a conversation between Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne, and we come to find out that, you know, because of these events, because of the events of Superman, Reign of the Superman, Lex Luthor is a member of the Justice League, and Batman is quick to remind him, like, he's like temporary, or like you're just here part-time type of a thing. You're not an official member type of a thing. So it puts that universe more into perspective of where we're going from here on out. It does hit a lot of the comic book notes. You do get your amazing, I don't want to say amazing because it's pretty quick. The Batman-Superman fight. I was hoping maybe to get a little more since it was on an animation. That, you know, maybe we get a little more than we did in the comic, but we get pretty much about the same thing, the same ordeal. But which is good. I definitely don't want to take away from it. I just was hoping for a little more. But again, end of the day, it was good. You get a lot of the rogues, the Batman rogues, a lot show up. Unfortunately, one of the ones I was looking forward and seeing just how the animation was for him was Killer Croc. And though he did show up in the comic, he did not show up here. But you get your Jokers, your Harleys, your Riddlers. You do get Bane. You do get quite a few. You get Scarecrow. Of course, Hush. So there's definitely, there may be a few more that, I don't want to spoil everything. But again, you do get a good few. You get a Gander at Amanda Waller. Lex Luthor. Lois. So, I mean, you get a good, broad understanding of all the characters, where they are, and what they look like in this particular universe. So, all of that, chalk it up to the good. Unfortunately, there is some bad, and in my opinion, especially, and I'm a little jaded, and I will be completely honest here. Since I love the comic so much, and I am someone who, originally, it was very hard in when comics were being translated into film and animation. I was like, oh, it's not like the comic. It's not like the comic at all. But over time, you learn to adapt, you learn to adjust, and you learn to see why some things have changed. I've always stood by the point of, I don't necessarily need the exact story told to me. I just want the characters, their motivations, and their essence, if you will, to reign supreme, be the same. The characters are really what I show up for, the story being told with them. It varies. Some are good, some are bad, some are great. And some, you just want to kind of keep turning the page and just look at the artwork. Let's just be honest. Okay? So, again, as long as these characters all stay the same, good, right? So, where it starts to kind of crumble down is some of the bigger iconic pieces. Again, for me, the one that got me back in the comics was the whole Jason Todd thing. Okay? And it's not here in the movie. Spoiler, I'm sorry. It's the only big major spoil I'm going to spoil because it is what affected me and it turned me off from the movie. Not completely, but for a big, I was just like, whatever, man. This is booty. Yes, I said booty. I don't want to see this anymore. I don't want to finish watching it, but I did. And I was really just heartbroken that particular scene was not there. Now, moving forward, the twist at the end is not the twist from the comic book. Okay, it tries its best to be, ooh, gotcha, and it's just not. You can almost see it coming, to be honest with you. And when you do see it coming, it's so lackluster. And it tries to connect itself still to the comic book in a way. I know it sounds a little confusing till you watch it. If you guys want to talk about it, we can talk about it in the comments below, or give it a couple of days. And if you guys really want us to talk more about it, maybe we'll do a live stream or chat with us over on our Facebook channel, Twitter, whatever's best and most convenient for you guys. If you guys want to talk about it, StarDust, I'm everywhere. So we can definitely do so. So, And at this point, this is a good point to jot all those down. You can find us basically in every major platform. We're there. We're not as focused there as we are mainly here on this channel or on YouTube, but you can reach out to us there for sure. That was again the biggest disappointment was the twists, and at the very end, if this is a spoiler for the comic, at the very end, the love that you see between Selina Kyle and Batman, with the whole when she goes to kiss him and says hush and he freaks out on her, you wish that was there in this, but we don't get that. What we get is basically a dispute over death. And it's, in my opinion, not nearly as impactful as the comic was. Impactful to Batman and his code, for sure. But, and again, I'm not sitting here trying to spoil anything, telling you Catwoman kills anybody. The way it all goes down, there was no other option type of a thing. But I just have this thing that Batman is a smart enough man to have realized the situation that was transpiring, and he wouldn't hold anything against anyone at that point in time, even if what her motives originally could have been. She clearly showed promise and change, and he kind of, I don't know, he just held things against her that I didn't see would have happened even with his code of honor. But again, the comic was far more impactful to me, and to understanding their relationship. So the first half of this, the Selina Kyle stuff, was great. The back half of it kind of is like, well, see, this is why he should probably be with Talia, because it is what it is at this point. I don't know. Or maybe he should just be a loner. But on to the badass, guys. The badass is that this is just another Batman movie that just chocked up, filled with action. Again, it does some small world building, but it builds the universe a little bit more of how their animation universe is moving forward. It kind of puts things into perspective. It lets you know that all the events from anywhere in the comic we can get, and there's going to be some changes, okay? And it kind of is interesting to see that Reign of the Superman happens so close to, Batman Hush, if you will, and also gets me to be like, like, wow, I can't wait to see what happens next, or what happened before, if you will, within this universe. So it was all pretty good, nothing spectacular. I'd give this, honestly, I'd give it a 2 out of 5 because of the disappointment on my end, but I think most people would say it was a 3, it was passable. So guys, if you already have the DC Universe app, this is, it's coming to their channel, it's coming there pretty quickly. So you should be able to check it out there. Otherwise, you can buy it and rent it on DVD, YouTube. You can, stream it if you want. You can find it through other means as well. It is worth a watch if you're a fan of that universe and Batman and of this story. Just know that it misses some of the marks. But the DC Universe app has a lot more stuff going for it than you really think. So check it out. It's pretty cheap. Unfortunately, we are losing Swamp Thing, but you still got Young Justice and Doom Patrol there, guys. So until next time, guys, I'm C-Dubs. Don't forget to like, share, comment on this video. Share this with your friends and family. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen it. Did you like it? Did you love it? Do you like Hush the comic? And also, who is your favorite Batman rogue? I want to know, everyone in the universe, who's your favorite Batman rogue? Let me know down below, guys. And until next time, I'm C-Dubs, and I'll see you in the universe. Peace.
Peter Pan, that's what they call me. Promise that you never be lonely. Peter Pan, that's what they call me. Promise that you never be lonely.